your next adventure take you? Welcome to Jefferson City, Missouri, and another Amtrak trip report. The train I'll be embarking on is Amtrak number 318, the eastbound Lincoln Service Missouri River Runner, for an 8+ hour journey in coach to Chicago. A temporary Amtrak waiting room stands on the parking lot of Lohman Building, right next to the tracks. The permanent waiting room is inside the Union Hotel. The Union Hotel has been closed for almost 5 years after a state inspection found issues with its overall structural integrity. It is currently undergoing a renovation project, which is estimated to be complete in about 2 years. In addition, the platform got renovated just a few months ago. The interior of this facility is nothing too special. It's pretty small, but seats a good number of passengers and features snacks, water, a unisex restroom, and pictures with all sorts of Amtrak information. The station is staffed daily by Amtrak volunteers until the waiting room moves back into the Union Hotel. Just after 11:30, train number 318 arrives from Kansas City. Our consist includes a Charger doubleheader, 2 Viewliner baggage cars, 4 Siemens Venture coaches, and an Amfleet business class cafe car. The rearmost Venture is business class, currently being used for coach until Venture cafes enter service, hopefully later this year. All aboard! The train is going to pause for about 15 minutes, so let's take a tour of an Amtrak Venture business class car, beginning with my seat on the left side of the train. Instead of curtains, the windows are equipped with sunshades that you pull down from the top. Right next to the wall is a folding armrest, in addition to an electrical outlet. It includes 2 120-volt sockets and 2 USB sockets. That's an added bonus. An even bigger bonus is the dual business class seats, including 2 armrests and 2 outlets between the seats. Sitting down now, you have the safety card and a fold-down tray table. Now, I can never seem to open up the safety card with one hand, so I did that off camera, and here's what it looks like unfolded. The seat also features a small coat rack and a safety handrail. The seat back doesn't recline. Instead, the bottom cushion slides forward about 2 to 3 inches. That's one of the biggest passenger complaints for the Amtrak Venture cars, in addition to the seat's firm texture. I'll circle back to that later on in the video, but let's not forget about the overhead reading lights. The legroom is good enough, and you can extend your legs underneath the seat in front of you. Starting in the rear vestibule, there are exit doors on both sides, trash and recycling containers, and the PA system. As we enter the main seating room, there's a luggage rack to my immediate right, which can also accommodate bicycles. Business class seating is in a 2x1 configuration, with seats slightly larger than those in a standard coach. At the end of the car, there are 17 coach seats in a 2x2 configuration, along with accessible seating. An automatic door greets us into the vestibule, which includes more trash and recycling, 2 more exit doors, and a wheelchair-accessible restroom. This business class car is permanently connected to a coach car, forming a married pair. The first 2 coaches in our consist are also a married pair. The restroom door opens and closes through the push of a button. As the door closes, you'll notice that it may kinda look open, but it's actually locked. Here's an Accelerator Eco hand dryer, an automatic faucet and soap dispenser, which is kinda just there and never seems to work, and the toilet that you flush by waving your hand on a little sensor. I like the large changing table as well. The touchless features are a fabulous upgrade from restrooms in the older cars. One more thing I'd like to show you is one of the table seats at the end of the car. As I sit down, there is a small table extension that you can pull out. After the 15-minute layover, we depart the Show Me State Capitol right on time at 11:49 a.m. Notice how quickly the train accelerates, thanks to the magic of the chargers. The best views for the next hour and a half will be on the left side as we run along the Missouri River, hence part of the name Missouri River Runner. Here's a brief history lesson on the Siemens Venture passenger rail cars. The Venture dates back to 2014, when 5 train sets were purchased for Brightline rail service in Florida. The cars were first built in July 2015, with the first train set being complete about 1.5 years later. In November 2017, 137 Venture cars were ordered for Amtrak intercity trains in California and in the Midwest. The first order of next-gen passenger rail cars was abandoned after a prototype built by Nippon Sharyo failed a buff strength test in August 2015. Testing began in February 2020 on the Venture cars, but during the testing process, lead was discovered in the restroom water pipes. Amtrak and Siemens fought over who would pay for the costs of replacing them. In addition, the Venture cars were temporarily pulled from service to get their table magnets removed. The magnets were supposed to keep the tables in place, but they were destroying people's electronics. This video was uploaded on February 1st, 2024, the second anniversary of revenue service for Amtrak Venture cars. Today, they're on every Amtrak Midwest route, except for the Illini and Saluki. They also entered revenue service on the San Joaquins a few days before Christmas 2023. Now, a little bit ago, I mentioned that numerous passengers have complained about the lack of seat comfortability in Venture cars. But I'll be honest, even for an 8+ hour journey, I enjoyed it perfectly fine. If any one of you has had a bad experience with the Venture seats, I'd suggest buying a bottom and back cushion. They're inexpensive online. I also think Amtrak or Siemens should either add cushions to the seats or replace them with more comfortable seats of similar width. Even though the seats might not be the best, the Venture cars make for a super smooth train ride. They actually have airbags on the wheels to help support that. After Washington, Missouri, it's time for some lunch in the cafe car, the next car back. The dining section comes first when you enter. But on the other side of the snack bar is the business class seating. I got the Angus burger with fresh vegetable crudité and a bottle of cranberry grape juice.
Please take this time to check around your seat and gather your personal possessions before exiting the train. Please watch the gap between the train and station platform when exiting the train. For your safety, be aware of open stairwells in the vestibules at the ends of each car. Watch your step. Use handrails when passing between cars. And use caution in the vestibules while the train is in motion. Thank you for riding Amtrak Midwest. Please have them ready together with your identification to expedite the process. This train stops at St. Louis.
Two and a half hours after Jefferson City, we have reached St. Louis. Apparently, the onboard information system was set for trains 314 and 304, which are the predecessors of 318.
We are now approaching our final destination, St. Louis.
After the automated announcement, the conductor comes on.
This train will continue north.
We crawl into Gateway Station sometime after 2:15. On our left is the westbound Missouri River Runner, number 311, which has stood here for about a week due to inclement winter weather cancellations. Those cancellations have affected most Amtrak trains in the Midwest. St. Louis is the only scheduled fresh air and smoke stop for the Lincoln River Runner, where we spend about a half hour charging up the chargers and changing crews. In the last few minutes of our stop, the cars start to really fill up with new passengers.
That's another train.
At 2:57 p.m., 2 minutes late, the Lincoln River Runner starts creeping out of Gateway Station. With the escalators in our sight, we slow down slightly for a running brake test that is required after every engineer crew change. The train behind number 311 is the westbound Lincoln River Runner number 319, the successor to trains 303 and 313.
There is a bunch of apartments. Yeah.
Welcome aboard Amtrak Midwest's Lincoln service.
Look, I'm over the road. No, I'm over the road. I'm on a train bridge.
No, we're not.
See that?
Next stop, Alton.
There goes White Castles, where me and Lucy met some sketchy people.
And scan your e-tickets. Please have them ready together with your identification to expedite the process.
On a bridge.
Your safety is important to us. Please take a moment to review the safety instructions card in the seat back in front of you and make note of the emergency exit instructions and signs throughout the train.
There goes traffic. Look at that. That's a pretty cool view, isn't it?
Please keep track of your possessions and do not leave them unattended. Your carry-on items can be stored overhead or in the end-of-car luggage
An abandoned
compartment.
building right there.
To ensure
There's
the
nothing
comfort and
inside that
safety
whole
of all
building.
passengers, put stow luggage in the floor areas surrounding accessible seats. Accessible seating areas must be readily available for passengers with a disability.
Yeah. Look at this one going over the Mississippi.
Carry-on items under 25 pounds.
So there's another set of train
Their
tracks.
luggage or bags that don't fit in the overhead rack can be stored in the
Look, I'm on the
end-of-car
train
luggage
bridge
compartments.
going across the Mississippi.
Thank you for riding Amtrak.
You see the barges?
Tickets, please. No tickets out, folks.
This train stops
Look at that.
at
Look at the river.
Alton,
It's pretty cool.
Collinsville,
Look,
Springfield,
look at the ice.
Tickets, please.
I
No tickets
actually see
out.
it moving.
Thank you.
Pontiac, White, Joliet,
Tickets, please. No tickets out.
Summit, Chicago.
Yeah, look at that. See that? And now I'm in Illinois.
Now you're in Illinois.
The leg of travel between St. Louis and Alton is known to be fairly slow, but the fastest speeds are yet to come after we depart from there. This is what I'm talking about. 110 miles an hour all the way up to Joliet.
We are now departing.
Carlinville is next in our schedule, followed by the Illinois state capital of Springfield, a few minutes after 4:30 p.m. Because our scheduled departure isn't until 4:46, we'll be standing in the station for about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna kill some time out on the platform. There are lots of road crossings in downtown Springfield, making for a literal train horn concert. The Venture cars are so quiet that the horn actually sounds quieter than in the older cars. And that goes double, considering that I'm in the second car from the rear. But what's the science behind these noise-canceling cars? I'll teach you. At the end of a Venture car are two interior doors. The automatic glass door separates the vestibule from the seating room. The touch-sensitive door behind that separates the vestibule from the gangway. This door setup is very useful to help minimize exterior sound. Just north of Springfield, we begin to parallel I-55. Oftentimes, the highway temporarily disappears from our view as the train races through the middle of several small towns and cities. One of the many benefits of riding Amtrak is that most of the stations are right there in the middle of the city. One of those cities is Lincoln, more or less right in the middle of the state. Bloomington Normal is another major station, arriving just after 5:30 p.m. There will be 80 people boarding at this stop.
I've been still doing farming.
After departure, it's time for dinner in the cafe car. My meal is a hot dog, cheese and cracker tray, and bottled water. Here's the interior of an Amfleet accessible restroom. Pretty much everything is manually operated in here, compared to the touchless Venture restrooms. In an Amfleet Cafe business class car, the restroom is in the table seating area. Here's Pontiac, but it's not in Michigan. Most stations on the Lincoln service route have been torn down and rebuilt in the mid to late 2010s. Another one of those stations is Dwight. It's not long before we close in on the suburban Chicago territory and our home stretch. We arrive in Joliet just after 6:45 p.m., with about 50 more minutes to the Windy City. Joliet is the southern terminus for Metra's Heritage Corridor and Rock Island District lines. The cafe seating area closes here, so now I am back in my seat for the remainder of the trip. It's interesting to see Christmas decorations still up, even in the weeks after the big holiday. But as we get closer and closer to Union Station, the train has to halt for about 20 minutes for two simple words:
freight trains.
Sounds like they're about to clear up. We should be moving any moment here. Once again, call it a little freight traffic. Once it's cleared out of the way, we will get a signal that allows us to proceed forward to our next evolution. Thank you.
Remember how I said these Venture cars are so quiet? It's literal silence whenever the train is stopped. But now we're back on the move again. We also parallel the CTA Orange Line for a short period of time. The Orange Line serves Midway Airport and the downtown loop.
No, I want to put directory. That is really deadline. Well, put directory. Say, I don't do.
Just shy of 8 p.m., we cross the Chicago River and are 5 minutes out of Union Station. Before the train stops for the final time, I'm going to share my final thoughts. It was an excellent 8+ hours aboard the Lincoln River Runner. The Ventures are my favorite Amtrak cars of all time. They're so smooth and quiet, with fantastic ADA upgrades from their predecessors. This is just my personal opinion, and I will respect yours if you haven't had a good experience with the new cars, specifically the seats. The cafe food was awesome, we maintained a good schedule, and it was just a fantastic train trip. The fact that passengers no longer have to change trains in St. Louis is such a convenience, especially college students attending Mizzou, Illinois State, or somewhere else along the route.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend you give it a like and subscribe for more content. I'm Robert Crable, signing off. See you next time.